Welcome to the Web Development Crash Course, designed specifically for beginners by Wsuits Industries. Let's build the web together. Dev Crash Course by Wsuits Industries. Now in this course, we are going to cover the HTML fundamentals, that's the basics of HTML. But before we get into any coding, we are going to set up our computer and prepare before we can code. So first of all, I would like you guys to navigate to Google Chrome, then go to any of your profiles that you have on Google Chrome. Now on Google Chrome, you are going to search for something before we can. So we're going to start with something called VS Code download. So when you type this on your computer, you're going to type VS Code download and click enter. Now you'll be given a link called code.visual studio code right here. Link could be in the description. You click on the first link right here, that's from Microsoft. Now the link opens like this and you have a download page right here. Now this download page is simply for what type of operating system you are downloading. Now you may have questions that what is VS Code? VS Code is actually an IDE, an integrative development environment. This is where we'll be typing our code and creating our website. So basically we are using Windows 10 to 11, so we are going to click on Windows. But if you are using a Mac system, you can click on a Mac. Or if you are my favorite guys, you are using Linux, you can click on the Linux file and download based on your type of Linux. So we're going to click on the Windows file, then wait for it to actually download on our system. As you can see here, the download has started. So let's wait for it to download. So whilst it's downloading, you already need a browser. Most of you already have Google Chrome on your computers, so I'm not going to cover on how to download Google Chrome. But if you do not have Google Chrome, I advise you use Google Chrome. So you can type Google Chrome download on the next browser tab. Then the link that you find here, you click on it, and you'll be given a file to download the Google Chrome file. Then you follow the basic steps to download. Now let's go and install our Visual Studio Code. So our download has been downloaded. So we're going to navigate to the downloads section. That's the download folder. And you can see the VS Code installer is right here. So now we're going to click on it, right click on it, then wait for the installer to load. Now you'll be given this page. That's a license agreement page. Click on I accept the agreement. If only you want to read through, click on create desktop icon, next, then install. Now wait for the installation to complete and click next throughout, then you are done. So let's wait for the installation to complete, then we start coding. Once the installation is done, you can see that you are given this window. So just click on finish and VS Code will automatically launch if you click the automatical launch button. Now we have VS Code open right here and we can now get into the real coding. So what we are going to do is that we're going to cancel this and we're going to create a new folder on our desktop. So navigate to your desktop, right click, then click on new folder. So we're going to call this portfolio website. So we're going to say portfolio website. Then click enter on this. Now this our folder right here has been created. This is where we are going to store our code. So basically, before we can now put our code inside this folder, we need to open it with VS Code. Now to open this file with VS Code, either we can just drag and drop it on the VS Code icon, or we can simply right click on this, then click on show more options, then click on open with code. Then the VS Code window will open inside that folder. So now basically we have opened VS Code inside the portfolio website folder. So now you can see that when VS Code launches, you have been given this Explorer menu at your right hand side. Now this simply is the breakdown of the folder, what is going to be inside the folder. And currently right now there's nothing in our folder. Good. So what we are going to do is that we are going to create a new file by clicking on this small button right here. So click on new file and we'll call this index.html. Now before you are creating any code, you have to give the code file a name, then an extension. So that is exactly what you are seeing here. The code file must have a name and an extension. And the thing that's going to separate the name and the extension is the dots. So the extension is what is going to be used to recognize the file and what type of file it is. So after creating it, we're going to click enter and you can see our file has been created successfully. So now let's start coding. But before we get into anything right now, we need to understand what really HTML is. So basically, when you open any website, for instance, let's say we open YouTube. This is what you see on YouTube right now. This is YouTube. So what you are seeing right now is the page, the current page we are inside. So you can see we have videos, we have pictures and all of the stuff. We have thumbnails and pictures and videos. We have buttons, we have links, and a whole lot of, we even have a menu. So basically HTML is used to structure the website. It's basically like the frame or skeleton of that website. Now, before you create your HTML document, you must specify all these things inside it. So before we even start, we are going to start something very simple. For the beginners, simply just type exclamation mark, then you are given this emit abbreviation. Then you click on it, then it has automatically load the page. Now I'm just going to cancel everything right here, leaving the doc type HTML so that we can explain line by line. Now this first code you are seeing here, this code represents the type of code you are now going to code in the browser. So it's the document type. You are telling the browser that we are going to code in HTML. So this current document is HTML document, hypertext markup language. HTML is not a programming language. It is a markup language. It is used for designing. It is not used for logic. So after using this doc type HTML, we have to now create something called an HTML tag. Now, you could be hearing tags in HTML. What is a tag? In HTML, a tag is simply a block of code snippets that is used to represent a certain type of element on a page. So if I want to input an image, I will use an image tag. If I want to input a paragraph, I'll use a paragraph tag. Now, this doc type tag does not have a closing tag, but the HTML tag has a closing tag. Now, the closing tag is used to close and enclose which content is inside it represents the HTML tag. So whatever I put inside here is for the HTML tag. It will be inside the HTML tag. So now, after creating the HTML tag, we need to create our headings and body. So now, before we even go straight to the real paragraph and headings, we need to give our HTML tag a head. A human being always has a head, so our HTML document must have a head. So we're going to type head, click enter on it, and we create our head opening tag and the head closing tag. Now the head is what contains metadata like titles, links, and settings. So when we create our head, we have to give our head a title. Now, if you click on go live right now, or you can simply go and run the code, if you save the file, go to portfolio website folder right here. Then when we click on this, we'll see a blank page. Now this blank page is there because we have not really added anything to our HTML document. We only created a head for it. So we need to give it a title. So we'll type title. Now inside the title section, we need to give our HTML document a name. That is what title is going to appear when that tab is open. So we are going to say portfolio website. Then we save it, click Ctrl+S, refresh, and you can see that the name has changed right here. So we have created our title. Now the next thing we have to do is we need to create our body. So what I want you guys to do is to get outside the heading section right here and create a new body tag. But before we create our body, I'm going to teach you something called comments. Now, a comment is simply a block of code that's not actually going to be run by the browser. When you are working with other programmers and other developers, you need to comment on your code so that you'll know what this code does. So we're going to click on the less than sign, then the exclamation sign, then minus, minus, minus. So when we click on minus, minus, it automatically changes this to a comment tag. So whatever we type here will not be run by the browser. So we'll simply say the page's body. So under this, we can now continue our code. So we need to create our body. So we'll type body. Now whatever we type inside the body will appear in this white section you are seeing here. So let's type anything here. And you should see it appear right here. You can see it right here, body. So now we know that we can type anything and create our document now. We can now start to learn the types of headings. Now, what is a heading in HTML? Now, you see in HTML, there are 6 different types of headings and their sizes are different based on the number. So for instance, I can say H1, click on it, just put any letter inside, then refresh the page. Then you can see that it's in caps, is big. So now what if I simply say H2? Let's compare the two of them. So you can see that the H1 is bigger than the H2. So that is how the headings work. It goes from 1 to 6. So for our heading, we are going to say portfolio website, or we're going to say portfolio. So after saying portfolio, you can see the portfolio is being created. The name portfolio is being created here. This will be the main name for our website. So after this, we'll click on the next line. Then we need to create a paragraph. Now a paragraph is simply a block of text that's going to be on the web page. So we create the P tag to represent the paragraph. Then we say, welcome to my awesome portfolio. So you can see welcome to my awesome portfolio has appeared right here on our page. So you can type multiple lines on this. You can even start and say welcome to my awesome portfolio and say I am a web developer and hacker. So when I type this, we should see it on the next line. Obviously, you're not going to see it on the next line. So what do you want to do and make it at the next line? You don't want it to be on the same line with this text. We are going to use another tag. And that tag, we're going to put it in between the text. It is called the BR tag. It is called the BR tag, which means line break. We are going to break that line, then input the next text at the bottom, right here. Now this code will be on GitHub for you guys to check it out. So after writing our paragraph, we are now going to create a list. Now a list is simply like a list. We have so many types of lists in HTML. We have the OL list and the UL list, ordered and unordered lists. The ordered list starts with the OL tag. Then you create LI tags inside to represent the list item. So we can say item 1, or we can even give it a heading. So we can say H2, my skills. Then inside the ordered list, we are going to say my skills. We say HTML, CSS, JavaScript. Then we refresh the page. So you can see that our list item has been created and it has been given a bullet number 1. So when we create another list item called li, then we say web Python ethical hacking, and we refresh the page, you can see that another list item has been created. So basically we can type the list as long as we want it. So we can also say mathematics, and so on and so forth. So list items, this is the ordered list. So what if we want to change it to the unordered list? We use the UL tag. We change it to UL. Then we rerun the code. Now you can see the numbers have been removed. Me personally, I like the UL list, but you can remove them with CSS. So after creating our list, we now have to be able to add an image to this. Now what I want you guys to do is under your H1 tag, write this img. The img tag has some arguments or attributes we need to set before our image will be created. Now the src argument or attribute, that's where we're going to link our image to it. Now before you can link any image to your code, an image has to be inside where the code is. So we have to download an image from the website or any other location. So I have an image already inside my prerequisites folder. I'm gonna open the image. Then I'm going to click on this image. I like this, copy it, then paste it here. Actually, the name is too long, so I'm going to rename it and call it image1 and save. Cancel. Come back to my HTML code. Now, inside my HTML code, I can now link the image. To check if the image file has been inside already, when you click on this button here, you can see the image file is right here. So to link the image, we are going to click the src argument, then we are going to specify the image name, img image, then put the name of the image. Now you can see that our image will be right here. You can see we have linked our image to the HTML document and it's somehow taking over the space. So we can style this image and make it a little bit small at the corner. So we will do that with CSS. So after learning our image and line breaks, this is the basics of HTML we have learned. So thanks for watching the video. Check out the next course on CSS on how to style this page. Please like, share, and subscribe.